Hello, and welcome to another Looking at Stuff video. And here's some stuff. This is a new pen I'm going to be using, courtesy of Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. I like the fact that they don't have borders. It's one of the best things about those doctors. But seriously, it's a very good organization. So this is going to be a somewhat different video. It's going to be educational, and I suppose it's still going to be relaxing, because I'm not going to be talking very loud, and I'm going to be writing, but we're going to be covering the thought of Martin Heidegger, particularly the question concerning technology. It's one of his famous essays. And it is a very brief essay, but it's very dense and very difficult to understand. So I'm going to talk about the ideas within that essay. So to start with, Heidegger is a phenomenologist. He's often taught in existentialism courses. While it's true that a lot of his philosophy does overlap with existentialist thought, I do not think that was Heidegger's primary interest. He was really a phenomenologist first. He was a student of, and I don't mean literally, but he was a student of Edmund Husserl. And Husserl kind of gave us phenomenology, and the short phenomenology is phenomena is all you can know, right? So Immanuel Kant made the separation between phenomena and what he called noumena, right? So phenomena is what you experience, your sensations, your impressions, what basically how you encounter reality in your mind. And noumena is reality as it actually is. So to give you a very good example, that actually comes from Bertrand Russell, is you have a table, and it's actually, say, a square table, but from the perspective, say you're far away and you're at an angle, it actually looks, like a trapezoid of some kind. But then if you're directly above it, it looks like a square. So these are phenomena, but the noumena is that the table actually is square, or three-dimensional object. But right, so again, you're only really seeing in two dimensions to a certain extent, as far as with shading, and but the reality is that it's this three-dimensional solid, and if you could see it up close with a microscope, while it looks smooth to you with the microscope, you'd see that it's actually extremely porous, etc. That's the difference between phenomena and noumena. For Husserl, right, ain't nobody care about that noumena. All there is phenomena. That's all you care about, and that's how you're going to know the world, is not by trying to understand the things as they are, which is the project of science. It would be by trying to understand how phenomena appear within you, right? You're studying the phenomena itself. And that includes everything, right? So, and you'll see just how much Heidegger is really a phenomenologist when I tell you about the core concept behind this essay and a lot of his thought. And I do not know why this keeps refocusing. It's really irritating. The core concept is revealing. Now, I'm using all the English words. These are words that were chosen by translators. A lot of them are very well chosen. These translators put a lot of thought into them, but Heidegger's use of German is kind of unusual. And I've spoken to a German professor who found it actually infuriating. She told me how she threw one of his books when she was trying to read it. Anyway, but so revealing is truth for Heidegger. And revealing is really something that comes about from our relationship with the world, right? We're in the world, right? But we're not just these subjects observing objective reality around us. We are, reality is revealed inside of us. And so let's say you see a flower, and yes, it may reveal itself to you as a source of scent, or it may reveal itself as something of some biological genus, and or something taking over your garden that needs to be mowed or whatever. But it could also, it could reveal itself as I'm trying to think the terminology, but basically, this life form that is a physical object that can be used and understood, and its cells can be calculated, and its germination can be studied. All of that's a part of its existence in the physical realm, what Heidegger calls a calculable coherence of forces. Right? But also, it can reveal itself as beautiful, right? And for Heidegger, that it's beautiful, or not just the fact that it's beautiful, but the very feelings that it gives you of its beauty, the sort of aesthetic sensations you gain from it, is as much truth as are all the scientific facts that you can deduce about it. So, revealing is truth. How objects reveal themselves is, again, the phenomenologist thing, right? It's true that all these scientific ways of understanding something is true of that phenomenon of the flower in your mind. But if you get feelings while looking at it of sort of wonder at its beauty, at its creation, or maybe even some sort of spiritual feeling about the wonders of the universe, those are all parts of the phenomenon as well, and therefore also true about it. So, that's the main thing to understand, that revealing is truth, and that everything you feel about the phenomenon is revealing. It is that object revealing itself to you. Those are all true attributes and features of that thing that are unfolding. Now, the next thing is remember, this is an essay about technology, right? He was asked to write an essay about his thoughts on modern technology, and I believe, if I remember the story right, Habermas was also. Habermas. He's actually still alive. He's like 93, but he was also asked to write an essay on technology, and Heidegger thought it was extremely shallow. It was basically, well, technology is neither good nor evil, it's all about how you use it, blah, blah, blah. Pretty shallow, actually. So Heidegger wrote this instead and confused the hell out of everybody. But so he was asked about modern technology, and Heidegger's thoughts is modern technology is a manifestation of a certain attitude toward reality he calls technicity. And the deal with technicity is it is a way of revealing reality, but a very monotone or monochromatic way of doing so. So everything is, as we said, a calculable coherence of forces. It is imposes a way of viewing reality called inframing, and it inframes everything as standing reserve is the translation. And there are some complexities in the terms he uses in German, like inframing actually has a certain morbid overtone in German that relates it to while it can mean a frame, like a picture frame, it can also mean a skeleton. So it's kind of has a sense of death to it. But it inframes reality by imposing on it only the conception of it as standing reserve. And what is standing reserve? Well, like energy in a capacitor, it is something to be exploited, right? Something to be used, something to be gained. You get something out of. So, you wouldn't see the flower as something beautiful. You'd see it as something you could squeeze perfumes or dyes out of. You wouldn't see, say a very beautiful piece of wood. You wouldn't admire the amazing grains of the wood. You would just see it as something to build a desk out of or whatever. I think he gives the example of the Rhine River is standing reserve, because instead of viewing it as this beautiful work of nature or whatever, it's there for the tourist industry or for the hydroelectric industry to exploit this natural resource to get power. Everything exists to be used and exploited. And I mean, even something like the Rhine, which people go and look at for beauty, is even that itself is understanding reserve, is not authentic, is more exploitation, right? So things are there to be used. What's the problem with that, right? I mean, you can use things. Well, the problem for Heidegger's problem. So I can draw a troll face. The answer is no, I cannot draw a troll face. Problem? The problem is that technicity, it doesn't play well with others. So there's something peculiar about the attitude of technicity in that it does not permit other attitudes to be true. It does not allow you to take this attitude that revealing is truth. You can only see, right, hard scientific reality as fact, and everything else is just feeling or fantasy or daydream or nonsense spirituality, right? This is technicity, right? You want a good example of technicity is someone like Richard Dawkins. You know, and it's not so much that his atheism or anything like that. It's really just that hard denial of anything other than scientific truth as something you can consider true. I mean, I think Bertrand Russell as well and his followers, a very hard adherence to this distinction between phenomena and noumena, right? I mean, so you do see that in what you could call, I think they call it scientism, but this the modern science and the objects of technology are all things that come out of this attitude toward reality. It's an attitude that does not permit other attitudes. And the problem with that is you have this, right? I think I said before that revealing shows that your relationship is about your relationship to reality. And truth is how the other objects in the world reveal themselves to you. But with technicity, you're not allowing any other ways of that relationship to grow and develop, right? You're closing yourself off to the richness of reality. And unfortunately, it doesn't just close yourself off, it closes off others. And in another essay, I don't really know very well, so I'm not going to talk about it, but he saw technicity as really the sort of the attitude behind the rise of the Nazis, which is ironic considering he got called a Nazi, but anyway, I'm not even going to go into that, but he saw the Nazi ideology as ultimately treating humans as objects to be mobilized toward greater and greater exploitation. So this, so what is the cure for technicity? Well, he sees really just one. He calls it salvation. Keep messing that up. Salvation is just I guess you could say he was consciousness raising before that was a thing. Be aware that there are other truths, right? That's it. Just be aware that just because there's this overwhelming attitude, or what we might call today ideology, of technicity that imposes on you the belief and the notion that the only thing that can be considered true is a hard scientific fact. Doesn't mean you have to accept that, and you don't have to allow yourself to be bullied into accepting that. And the arguments to make you hold to that belief are themselves coming from within technicity, and they want you to argue with them under the premises of technicity, which, of course, is already geared for you to lose that argument. But if you try to argue from them under the phenomenological point of view that Heidegger puts forward, then of course it's very clear that they're incorrect, and that there are other kinds of truth that don't follow the model of facticity, right? Now, I'm not saying I necessarily believe Heidegger's view of the world, but I really like it. I think it's really beautiful, and I think there are certainly worse perspectives to take, worse ways, worldviews you could have. And it is a valuable thing as well to be aware that this could very well be accurate. Right? There may be some truths that you can't really put a mathematical formula on, that can't be reduced to a calculable coherence of forces. So, that's it. I said this video was going to be a little different, and it is. I hope you enjoyed it. It's, I studied philosophy from, what was it, 2003, I want to say, to 2010, or it was 4 to 11. It's been, that was a while ago, so I forgot the exact years, but I got my, I got my degree in 2007, so that was a BA, and I kept studying my master's degree in philosophy, and then I dropped out, because for many reasons, but mostly I ran out of money. And I still really love just journeying through ideas, especially when very challenging ones like Heidegger's. And I often find myself returning to the ones that moved me the most, like Heidegger's. If I could be doing anything right now as a career, it would probably be. So when I dropped out, my thesis, my supervisor, Daniel Kaufman, he's a really good man. He told me, I don't think I spelled that right. I think he's one of those people who spelled it with an O and 2 F's. But anyway, he told me that one day, after being in the real world, you're going to realize that getting paid to read and talk about philosophy is a pretty good deal. And he was right. I still enjoy what I do for a living right now, but I would so much rather just be doing this. But I have something to ask of you right now, if you've made it to the end. It is not just to like and subscribe. I am asking you to tell me what kind of videos of mine you like. And let's make no, I don't want to use that paper. Let's use this one. Let's make a poll over here. What kind of vids do you like from the ones that I make? So, do you like one looking at collections like my cards, action figures, to flipping through stuff? And by stuff I mean pages, 3, that is writing vids like this one and the one I did on my internet stories, or for other. And if you choose this one, explain what you mean by other. Maybe there's something you'd like me to do and I could actually do it. I probably won't do role plays. I definitely will never do mukbang, but and also, surprise, like and subscribe, please. Okay, that's all I got. Thanks for listening and have a great night.